We Hearted is a social network based on inspirational photo sharing that's a phenomenon amongst young women under 25. It's coming out with a brand new version of its iOS app, and here to tell us about it is Dave Williams, We Hearted's president. You're going to give us a hands-on look at this app, but really quickly, explain to me who the We Hearted user is and how much growth you've seen recently.
Yeah, so We Hearted's users are young, style conscious or style interested, fashion interested users from around the world. It's primarily women, not all women. The US is our largest market, but we're very popular in places like Europe and Latin America, so we see a lot of global influence around some of the images that come into We Heart It.
And when you use the word inspiration, what does that really mean for a social network? How are people using this as opposed to using, a Tumblr or an Instagram or a Pinterest?
Yeah, so We Heart It is a place where people come in to relax and look for ideas and basically explore beautiful imagery that is going to inspire them. And it's not just about images, it's about ideas. We see a lot of text on images, quotes being expressed visually. So the use case for We Heart It is about people exploring their personal identity, not through pictures of themselves, selfies, etc. It's more about what am I interested in, what do I want to explore, what moves me, and also about what images can I bring into the service that will move others. So that's another big part of it is, if I have a particular interest in, say, nature photography, and I see a lot of other users hearting what I'm doing, that's a really positive reinforcement. It's not about me. It's not as narcissistic, I think, as a lot of other networks. It's more about sort of what my interests are, and it's very authentic in that way.
When I was a teenager back before cell phones, I used to make collages, cutting things out from magazines, and me and my girlfriends, we all did this, and we decorated our lockers and our notebooks and things with that. It sounds like this is really just a digital version of that.
Yeah, I think it's a digital version of that on steroids. We see people coming in and they create collections over years on We Heart It, and they can go back and explore things they were interested in a couple of years ago. But it is just about what am I interested in, and exploring different topics and finding different things to explore visually. And I think this generation, the under 25s, they've grown up in a visual world, right? They've grown up where access to imagery has been ubiquitous almost since really through their coming of age. And I think for a place like We Heart It to be a very simple, focused, beautiful visual expression platform, it's been something they've embraced tremendously.
Okay, can we take a look at the new iPhone app?
Sure. All right, so this is the new We Heart It. As I said, we've redesigned it from the ground up. It's much simpler. The images are larger, higher resolution. They load a lot faster. That's another thing we've been working on the back end that you don't see here, but you will see when you use the application. We've elevated the following feed. So two main ways that users use We Heart It is they have your all images feed, which is basically what's trending from around the world at any given moment. You can see, we're starting to move away from soccer. We had a lot of soccer shots over the last few weeks, but we also have the following feed here, which is this is images being posted by users that I'm following. Right? And in this case, we move away from the grid because these are images that I'm probably going to be a lot more interested in because I've chosen to follow these users or follow collections that they're creating. So that's again, as you get into an image, let me find one that's. Take this flower image here. So again, you'll see if you compare it to the existing app, the resolution is higher, the image is more beautiful. We're also surfacing here collections a lot more. So we've started to focus much more on collections in the new design. So whenever you find an image, if it's included by other users in some of their collections, we'll bring those up here so you can very easily find other collections that feature this image and explore the app that way as well. Another big thing, probably the single biggest change in the application is what we call a Canvas page, which is your personal profile page. When you first arrive on a user's Canvas page, you're going to see this collage of photos around their avatar picture. So this is my Canvas page. I can change at any given time what collection I use for this. It can be all my hearts, or it can just be a collection that I've picked. And kind of one of the fun interactions here is every time I tap on that, it's going to reset the image that I have. I don't think I have actually that many in this collection, but it will kind of reshuffle. So you can kind of get a feel for the kind of stuff that I'm into. You click into my collections here. You can see, again, all the different kinds of things that I'm building, all the different themes, my personal interests. So that collections theme has come up and become much more prominent in the new app. And then if you want to find out a little bit more about me, here's a little bit more information about who I am, who I'm following. You can click into the sort of more traditional social network stuff. One other thing that we've added is we want to make it super easy for users to bring images into We Heart It. So you've been able to upload images for quite some time. We didn't really have an easy way from mobile devices for people to browse the web and discover images and bring them in from their blogs or other things that they like to browse. So we've really upgraded that a lot as well. So we've made it a lot easier to go out on the web and search very quickly, bring images in, and bring images from the outside. If I wanted to very quickly heart an image to my profile, tap into the image detail, and then it hearts it. And again, going back to that collection theme, I guess this was the other thing, is I can then very quickly pull up my list of collections and drop that image into a collection if I want to do that.
Great. How many users do you have right now on We Heart It? What are the latest numbers?
Yeah, so we've got about 25 million registered users. We've been very focused on growing our registered user base over the last 12 to 18 months. We add about 1 million new every month. So it's growing everywhere, really. It's growing, as I said, biggest market is the US, but we're also becoming very, very popular in parts of Europe and Latin America.
And what about monetization?
Yeah, so monetization is something we've just started to experiment with. We're running some pilot programs with some big brands right now. People like Hollister and Old Navy, and Vera Wang just introduced a new scent, Princess, on the platform. And it's all about native advertising. Basically, we see We Heart It as a place for people to explore what they're interested in, and that can include brands. We've seen a natural a flow of content into the service. So if you search on Prada or Nike or any brand you can think of, you're going to see a lot of imagery that users have already brought in. So we're starting to talk to brands directly. But one of the things that we're most interested in from the brands is they create some of the most beautiful imagery in the world, right? Because they're working with professional photographers and they want to express their brands in the most interesting ways. So we think that there's an opportunity for us to bring those brand values, that beautiful photography in a way that's much more authentic than traditional advertising.
And do these redesigns with iOS, and you had already redesigned the Android platform, I guess, a little while ago, does that make it easier for you guys to potentially monetize? Was that in your minds at all as you rebuilt these apps?
Not specifically. The redesign is really done with the user in mind, and we wanted to allow them to express and create and customize much more. Now, one of the great things about that is also we do have advertisers and celebrities and influencers who also want that kind of creative control. So it certainly provides opportunities for monetization down the road, but really we're mostly focused on audience growth. And then we're experimenting with advertisers. One of the things we like about brand advertisers in particular is they spend a lot of time and invest a lot of resources in creating beautiful imagery around their brands. And that's a very authentic way for a brand to express itself on We Heart It, is to take some of that campaign imagery and bring it in, not as an ad, but as an expression of who they are.
And what's next for We Heart It? How do you think about the future here?
Yeah, so we have been growing tremendously, but even if you think about 15 to 24-year-olds in the world, there's 1.2 billion 15 to 24-year-olds who are embracing smartphones by the millions. And so just within that audience alone, we see a huge, huge opportunity to grow. And I think that's we have a product or a service here that's really speaking to that generation. Hundreds of people in our audience say they work at We Heart It on Facebook, for example, because they identify so strongly with the community. And,
to be clear, you only have 25 full-time staff. So
we only have 25 full-time staff.
Right,
yeah.
So a lot of those people are just lying, or they are on We Heart It so often that they feel like they work there.
They say they're an editor for We Heart It or a photographer for We Heart It. So I think we've really touched something special with this audience.
Well, Dave Williams, thank you so much for showing us the new We Heart It app.
All right, well, thanks for having me.